This week's throwback is Akira. Came out in 1988, Japan, 1989, America. Never seen this movie before in my entire life till this week. I watched it for the very first time. So, total fresh mind going into this thing. For being 1988, I have to say, the animation is outstanding. Amazing artwork, pencilship, whatever you want to call it. Everything looked and felt real, like if I was watching a live action movie, that's how I think those things would actually play out. Especially the music. The very beginning of the movie, the music, I don't know how to explain it. It is so catchy. It is so like you want to hear more of that with more bike chase scenes and more, biker gangs smashing each other with rods and blowing things up. And I liked how they did it too, because they're in like a little bar pub underground thing, and the guy picks the CD and we gotta go, the clowns or whatever. So they leave, the jukebox starts playing the music, and then you're hearing the song while they're doing their shenanigans with the rival gang, tearing up the streets, doing everything.
This throwback was my suggestion. I am a lover of this movie. I saw this movie back in 89, I believe, when it came to America. I was 10 years old. I know that ages me. Seeing the movie then, I adored it. I adored it for its amazing visuals, for its action, its awesome characters, just quotable moment after quotable moment. My friends and I were always yelling Tetsuo and Kaneda back and forth to each other, and you'll know why when you see the movie. This movie had a big impact on me when I was younger. I did not get the deeper meaning of it when I was younger. As a matter of fact, I don't think I fully understood the deeper meaning of this movie until I watched it yesterday, which just goes to show that this movie has different layers to it. There's an action movie about, a biker gang and the kids involved and the delinquent youths and a resistance and stuff like that. But yet there's also this concept of higher power and playing with the power of God and should you, even though you can, and those higher concepts that I just didn't get as a kid. I will say that if this movie came out today, I don't think anyone would say that the animation and the visuals were dated. I think that this would survive today as like a stylized film. Now, obviously it's hand-drawn, which doesn't happen anymore, but if they were to release it as a hand-drawn movie, I think everybody would just take it as it is. It would not surprise anybody. It really holds up really well.
Imagine yourself in the future, post-World War III, dystopian, post-apocalyptic world of Neo-Tokyo. Imagine these epic vistas. That's what this movie is. It's just epic. It's huge. There are so many movies that do not deliver on the promise of big things. This movie is big. It's over 2 hours long. That is very rare for an animated film. So I have to give them a lot of credit. And they didn't take the easy way out. There's nothing cheap about the 2 hours. The hand-drawn animation in this is absolutely incredible. It's lush. It's super detailed. I especially loved all of the machinery and the technology, which is over-designed in an extremely good and pleasant way to me. Loved seeing all of the tech and the machinery. In addition, they found a way to animate or visually display psychic mind power abilities in battles. Typically, I'm not a fan. I don't typically like mental mind battles in the movies because there's just nothing that interesting to look at. This movie really breaks that by making it extremely interesting to watch. Visually, it is just astounding. I mean, it's hard to argue with 2 hours of the best animation you could possibly imagine.
Like Ghost in the Shell, it's deep, it's very philosophical. There's a lot of big questions asked in there that I don't think at that time people maybe thought of asking or even really thought about in general. Now, of course, we think about everything. I feel the movie's open to different interpretation. I've talked with the other guys and their interpretations are a little bit different than what my own is. I don't really want to give the ending away. Nick made a mention, and I kind of agree with Nick, that if you haven't seen it and you're definitely interested, I would say go see it so then you can see the ending. You can interpret it the way that you want to interpret it. I definitely will say this, I came away with it that trying to be like a god with power, it's not for us. It's not for any one person to use and have, and that's kind of what the movie delves in. You wouldn't think that, because the first part of the movie is biker gang, kids ditching school. Speaking of which, oh my god, can we please bring back punishment in schools? I love the fact when those kids are lined up in the principal's office and that dude just smack. Next scene, they're all coming like,
Oh, he hit us like you loser.
I was cracking up the entire time. I was like, good. These kids got a little tough love. It's how society cares about you.
The music design, it's always been something I've liked. I mean, it's iconic in my mind because I saw it at such a young age, and there's nothing like it. Ghost in the Shell does something similar, but it's definitely not the same. Tetsuo's theme, the bike chase themes, Kaneda's theme, all that stuff is just fantastic. It adds to the character, it adds to the thickness of the scene, it adds to the emotional investment you have in these characters, and I think it's great. I will say that in order to fully understand the movie, I did actually have to hit the internet. that. I understood the basic concepts and some of the higher concepts, but how they all melded together and how they got there, I actually had to look that up. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I like it when a movie doesn't dumb itself down for its audience, that if it has a point to make and it wants to do it in a specific way, it just does it. Once I got it, it all clicked, and it was just spot on.
There is quite the mystery in going on throughout the film. It doesn't lay itself out really easy. I mean, you do have to pay attention, and even if you do, you may not understand everything. I was actually fine with that because we are constantly reminded of potential presence of something named Akira over and over and over. And if you're me, you're thinking, well, this better be worth the wait if I'm hearing about it so much and all the time. Boy, yeah, it was worth the wait. I mean, this thing pays off on multiple levels, both figuratively, conceptually, visually, multiple payoffs, not just the one time. So it's definitely worth sticking with it for the entire movie.
It's definitely something different. You can't just put it on and be like, I'm gonna watch this movie. You gotta pay attention. It's not like some movies that you can literally put it on, walk out, come back, and be like, oh yeah, they're doing this now. You gotta watch the whole entire thing, start to finish, dial it in, get all your snacks and everything ready. The artwork is absolutely outstanding. That's one thing I do like about anime. You wouldn't think much about it, it's like, oh, it's a cartoon, because that's most people's judgment on it, but no. I feel more work goes into that than the live action stuff. That's just my own opinion. I could be totally wrong, but that's just how I feel.
The characters in this movie are amazing. Every one of them, in my opinion. Everything from the bike gang itself with Kaneda and Tetsuo and their friends, to Tetsuo's girlfriend, to the colonel, the military gentleman, to the politicians, to the scientists, to the Espers themselves, the young children with the powers. Everything is just really well done. I get invested in the characters. I want to see what's going to happen. It has a little bit of a slow build up towards the beginning, but you're so intrigued on what's going on because once it starts hitting the fan, the movie kind of goes full turn and you're trying to figure out and catch up and keep up with what's going on. And it does that in a number of times where you get to a point you think you know what's going on and then a sharp turn and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I got to catch up again. Okay, now I think I'm on the right track, another sharp turn. And you're like, oh my gosh, where are we going with this now? I like that this movie doesn't pull punches. There are a number of things that happen in this movie where I think if it was released today, it would be criticized for. There is a portion of a rape, for example, that shows in the movie, and I think that if that was released today, I think people will probably have controversy about it and stuff like that. But I feel that in the context that they showed it, it was important to show, and they didn't go too far with it. They didn't continue to show it for the sake of showing it. They made their point and they moved on. I also feel the violence when Tetsuo starts to lose it. Some of the stuff he pulls off is like, those are holy shit moments. There's no doubt. And it just escalates from there.
Probably my only real pet peeve about it, a lot of the dialogue is really the characters shouting each other's names. There's so much action going on that you could probably go 5 to 10 minutes with just hearing someone shout another character's name. That did help me recognize which character was which, made it a lot easier for me, but it can get a little bit grating. The main character is actually not particularly likable. Normally I have a hard time with that in films, but I found it refreshing in this one because it made the movie more surprising, less predictable. It's not cliched. Pretty surprising to think that a movie from 1988 can, in the year 2017, still be original, still be surprising. So overall, I would consider this film required viewing for adults. It is super original, super mind-blowing, super epic, and it holds up to this day. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give this movie a 10 out of 10. This movie is the anime in my mind. It was not only the first I saw, but to this day, it is still my favorite anime. And being that my favorite show of all time is also an anime, and the movie does not top this, means a lot. It means this movie is something special. Every time I see it, I learn something more about it, and I see something deeper about the story and the meaning behind it. And I think that really shows a well-made movie. If you haven't seen this movie, the second this review is over, go watch this movie. You owe it to yourself.
Movie was good. I'm glad I got to see it. I'm gonna give the movie a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I liked everything about it. It delves so deep into this universe, this whole concept of a World War III, the aftermath of that, what society's like, the artwork, the sound effects, the music, just everything about it. Nick says it's on every list for like top 10 whatever, so with that said, I can see why it's on that list. And I have a better appreciation for anime in that sense. If you guys have a suggestion for any throwback that you'd like us to do, go ahead and throw that down below. We do take them. We've done a couple already. Next week, though, is going to be the original Fast and Furious. So if you have one, don't worry, put it in there. We will get it next. Go ahead and like this video and favorite it. Hit that subscribe button. By doing that, you get more throwback reviews, regular movie reviews, unboxing videos, other shenanigans we do on the daily and weekly. And remember, guys, you heard it here at The Source.